one of the greatest things I've learned on my quest to changing behavior, changing identity, changing character. Something from Paul Chek that a lot of you have probably heard before, but it's worth saying again, is if you can name it, you can tame it. And, you know, I've recently had a few people reach out about a loved one that they know or someone that they know having psychosis, and what do? What do you do if you know someone who's just psychotic? And I guess part of naming it and taming it is that, you know, psychosis through conditioning has got such an outrageous stigma about it. It's like, oh, if you're psychotic, you're out of control, and you're immediately, you know, sent to the warden and put in a padded room and, you know, all tied up, and you're not allowed to move because you've got psychosis. Just forget about that conditioning first, and just think of psychosis. It's a plea for love, right? It's a cry for love. It's a lack of love. And the psychosis is driven someone to the point where they didn't have any love and attention for so long that their behaviors, you know, psychosis is the last step. It's not you don't just wake up with psychosis, you know. Psychosis is an out of control mind, and it's just like someone just not sleeping for, you know, 21 days or whatever, and just got no control over their mental cognitive behavior whatsoever. So just stress compounded will lead to a psychosis. Stress compounded will lead to a disease in the body. Stress compounded in any format will break down on the weakest link, and some people's weakest link is their mind and their behavior and their mind control. So you people get red flags before going into psychosis, and a great tool when you can get it early, because dealing with psychosis, it's a good chance that you will definitely need to take medication just to wind you down a little bit, right? Because if you're wound up, you've got no control, there's no therapy, there's nothing that's going to get you out of that hole. But if you slow things down, get control over yourself, get some self-awareness about yourself, you can then start to name it and tame it. And tame it is exactly what it is, right? Taming something is literally putting a leash on the thing, and you're in control. So whether it's psychosis, whether it's you being judgmental, whether it's you self-bashing, whether it's you being egotistical, whether it's you being angry, whether it's you being frustrated, whether it's you being shy, whether it's you being full of guilt and shame, whether it's you being unsure of yourself, whether it's you being fearful, whether it's you being non-abundant, whatever your pitfall is, and every single one of us has a pitfall, or 2 or 5 or 10, whatever it is that you need to tame in order to become someone who you're proud of, someone who you respect, someone who you love, someone who you want to be, right? When you look in the mirror, you got to be damn happy with what's going on in front of it. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? Honestly, if you can't go into the mirror and just be super proud of, like, you know what, Shane, you're the dude. So proud of you, who you're becoming, who you are, what you've been through, what you stand for. To have that conversation with yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror, you need to tame a lot of traits, behaviors, characteristics of your ego. Otherwise, you will never get to that state of self-love and self-reflection when you look in the mirror. It's literally, Paul Chek taught me a lot of things, but none better than this in terms of real character change. No fluff, no, therapy of any kind, no tricks or magic potions. If you can name it, you can tame it. That's the best advice you're going to have if you want to have a chance of changing your identity, changing and controlling the shadow parts of all of us. That we all have shadows. We all have that critical voice. We all have that voice that isn't really up to any good, that actually creates the mess that we find ourselves in the first place, is created by that little voice. We all have to tame that little voice. And when that little voice is tamed, then you get the big voice, the big papa from your deep inside your gut, just guiding you through life, making it just so easy. Honestly. Because life is easy. Wholeheartedly, life is easy. Because when you're guided, and I'm trying to make a pact with myself to not use any spiritual jargon, because I'm trying to get away from that. I always was weary of that, and I just want to stay away and I'll tell you why. I'm not being judgmental. I'm naming and taming myself here. Is because much like anything, if I was just to use fitness terminology, if I was just to use spiritual terminology, it's very much pigeonholing yourself, and only a certain amount of people will really, really respond to it. But then a lot of people will turn their backs to it. And being happy, living a really easy and fulfilling life is everyone's given right. And for me personally, I just want to make sure that with the message that I'm trying to get across is open to all and not secluded to any. So in that light, naming your childish behaviors, naming your childish thoughts, naming your immature train of thoughts is the best way to give you that present moment, to give you that extra baggage, that extra ammo to deal with whatever shit you've got going on, to really give you that upper hand. If in the moment you realize you're being depressed, if in the moment you realize you're being judgmental, if in the moment you're being critical, if in the moment you're being negative, pessimistic, angry, whatever it is that your shadow is, all you have to do is just say, Shane, you're being super critical at the moment, mate. They can't do anything about it. That's all they know. Or Shane, stop being so hard on yourself, mate. Look what you've been through. Of course you're going to have these thoughts. It gives you that split second just to be like, just chill the fuck out, just relax. It's all good. Instead of having the thoughts of judgment, having the thoughts of I'm not good enough, having the thoughts of I've got bad luck, and why is life so hard, and I can't lose weight, and I can't do this, and this is that, and this, whatever the thoughts are, right? Instead of just going down that rabbit hole of I'm in pain, and I've got this, and these bills to pay, and getting really over-analytical on that topic, you can just say, hang on, Shano, there's nothing you can do about that by thinking about it. If you want to change that, you have to just be like, okay, that's my lower version right there. That's my depressed version right there. That's my immature person self right there. That's one perspective. That's just my lower self trying to give me their perspective, which I'm grateful for, because it gives me the contrast to be like, okay, well, I'm going to choose to see things a little bit more optimistically. I'm going to choose to go this way instead of, just over contemplating things in that direction. I'm just going to go the other way. So if you've got a psychosis, like I did, right? There's nothing wrong with this psychosis, just out of control mind. And I had a very out of control mind. At like grade 5 out of 5, if that's what there is in psychotic terminology, I was there. It's just a state, just like happiness, just like depression. It's all states, right? And a state is a temporary state of feeling, right? It's a in the moment. Your state determines on what you're feeling in the moment. So it changes, just like the clouds. They come and they go. It changes. It's only momentary. You don't get stuck there. And people that get stuck in psychosis, unfortunately, don't get told that they're loved. Don't get the attention that they needed or need in the moment. Don't get told that, hey, you have an opportunity to let this go. Hey, you have the capability to create someone new. You have the opportunity to be happy. You've got every God-given right to go and chase your goals and your dreams and to have something in the background working on your side. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to keep taking the medication. You don't need to keep letting people telling you that you've got psychotic behavior. You have a choice to get out of there, my friend, my brother, my sister, mum, dad, or even myself. That's all the psychotic person needs. They just need to know that they can name it as their psychotic self and know that it's absolutely fine to have a psychotic self. And in fact, if you didn't have a psychotic self, I would question the reliability of that person. Because if someone's just perfect and they're not psychotic, they haven't really gone into the depths of their own mind. They haven't gone into the depths of their own soul. So you can't really trust a man if he hasn't really taken himself into the depths, because he's only going to be projecting. He's only going to be theorizing. He's not going to be practical in what it is to be a real human being. He won't have the empathy to understand what psychosis is. He won't have the empathy to understand what real depression is, real anxiety, real panic attacks, whatever it is. If a person hasn't got the compassion and the empathy to understand what it's like to go through that, they can't be trusted. Otherwise, they'll just be filtering and projecting and seeing the world through their ego, because they haven't got the courage or they haven't got the knowledge to go into themselves. If you've got psychosis, if you've got depression, if you've got anxiety, it's a gift. My biggest gift was my psychotic event in the United Kingdom. Right? The kingdom of psychosis it was. It was a gift for me. I can't express to you how much of a gift it was. It was so much of a gift. How can I explain it? I just don't need anything else, and I'm happy to die today. When you can be happy, yes. I've got it. I can't explain it. When you can be happy to die today, leave it all behind, you've made it. Try and understand that. And I'll try and, 13 minutes, I've still got a bit of time. I'll try and go into it for you. Death plagues us all, right? The concept of it, the practicality of it when someone dies, or even if you're fortunate, I'm not going to say unfortunate, but if you're fortunate enough to be heading in the direction of death and you're still alive, you still have a choice. You still have an opportunity to move away from it. But from a deep feeling state, if you can get comfortable with dying today and leaving it all behind in a healthy way, not in a running away way like I was back in 2013, I wanted to die because I was scared. I wanted to die because I couldn't handle it. I wanted to die because it was too painful. I was too lonely. There was no one around to comfort me. There was nothing that was going to make me feel better. I just knew I just didn't want to feel this anymore. I wanted to check out. That's not what I'm talking about, as you can probably tell. I'm talking about being so satisfied and very fulfilled in my experience thus far at the ripe old age of 32 that there isn't much else for me to do. Yes, I could tick a few more boxes here and there, but the feeling states of ecstasy and joy and sadness and depression and suicide and psychosis and joy and fulfillment, all those states, I've ticked them off in one way or another. When I was in this place, when I was in that place, when I experienced this, when I experienced that. I've experienced many emotions and many states, as Mr. Robbins would say. And even if there was a few more states that I haven't experienced, I'm happy to go. I'm happy to check out. I'm happy to go. Like, there's just, I'm just happy. Like, let's go. Let's see what's next, right? When you can get to a state of being happy with death, ultimately, paradoxically, you open the keys to life. And you only have to take Lao Tzu here to really understand, to really cement what I'm trying to say. You know white because of the black. And without the white, you wouldn't know what black was. So without death, you don't know what life is. And without life, you just don't know what death is. So it makes sense that the ultimate, for me anyway, I'm just philosophizing here, just shitting around with you guys, but for me, to reach the pinnacle of living, you have to be really comfortable with the pinnacle of dying. Yes, physically, mentally, and emotionally dead. And yep, I'm just thinking mentally, yeah, I've definitely been dying mentally, emotionally, 100%. And physically, yes, I almost did die in Dubai with my little asthma attack that found me in an ambulance. So I have ticked most of those boxes. Probably that's why I'm comfortable with saying what I'm saying. So to bring it back, to make it practical for you, viewers, watchers, anytime. And this is where you do need help if you don't know if it's okay to be judgmental or critique or self-bashing or ignorant or negative or pessimistic. My mum, she will say something, so Mum, you're being pessimistic. No, I'm not. Right? Defensive. Can't see that she's being pessimistic or negative. Unfortunately, most of us, if not all of us, think our shit doesn't stink. But shit is shit, right? It stinks no matter who it comes out from. So we've all got it, and it all stinks. So you maybe do need some perspective from the outside to give you an objective view, to be like, hey, Shane, you've been a bit pessimistic, my friend, a bit negative, a little bit of a victim you're being, Shano. You better start calling yourself the victim so that you can tame yourself when you're being a victim, so that you can create someone who's an opportunist instead of a victim, who sees opportunity and doesn't see bad luck. The only way you get that perspective is by realizing, being objective about your thoughts, being objective about your life, right? How good is it? How good is your life right now? How good is it? Where have you been today? What have you done? What are you doing tomorrow? What did you do yesterday? Are you fully happy with that? Is it serving you right now? Are you on the right path? And if it is, awesome. Keep going. But if it isn't, you're going to have to start calling yourself out. You're going to have to start critiquing yourself in the form of naming the parts of you that are creating the life that you're living. It's simple. I'm telling you this, name it and tame it. Mr. Paul Chek is a very wise man. this stuff can save you. This stuff can change you. This stuff can and will evolve you. It's hands down. Hands down. The only hard part about it is you just got to discern, distinguish the parts of you that need to be called out. And that should just come from self-awareness. And if you need help with it, I'm always happy to call people out. It's what I do for a living. That's the damn truth. See you next time.